Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Nightcap Knowledge. My name is DJ George Chuck, one half of your duo, your host of Nightcap Knowledge. Mr. Mac is over there. He is coming straight out of Jacktown. I'm down here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. We are here to celebrate Kwanzaa, and I got to turn the music down just a little bit before we pay the bills. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time on Instagram. So thank y'all for tuning in. Instagram, if you're out there and you got the comments available to you and you have the ability to leave a comment, please do so. Let us know where you're tuning in from, what platform you're on. We would greatly appreciate it. But in the meantime and in between time, we got to give a shout out to Sweet and Associates. We had attorney Dennis Sweet IV on last week talking about preparing for the holiday season and some of the things that Sweet and Associates are working on in terms of cases and folks that they're representing. So definitely want to give a shout out to Sweet and Associates for participating in last week's Nightcap Knowledge show. We also got to give a shout out to the youth screenwriting experience is going on right now. Our brother Maximus is building the next generation of filmmakers, screenwriters. We are growing the film industry right here in Mississippi, and it is happening in Jackson, all over the state to be exact, but it's growing from the city of Jackson, and it's growing from a Tougaloo grass. So we definitely want to give brother Maximus, if you want more information about what they're doing, go to jxnfilmfestival.com. Last but certainly not least, we've got the Higher Purpose Awards celebrating Black excellence across Mississippi. That's February 3rd, 2024, up in Clark Vegas, man. Clark Vegas will be there. Also, we'll be joined by the Tones, and it'll be hosted by Monica Barnes. So if you need to get that ticket, you might want to go to higherpurposeawards.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Nightcap Knowledge. We put some on your head before you go to bed, and we will see you soon.
Hey, hey, I've been around folks like Mailman and DJ Handy and all of them, and they
Yeah,
have it timed just perfect. Like, okay, this gonna
yeah.
be like 60 seconds, and right before it goes off, they sit back down. I'm like, how you do that? So I was off a little bit.
Yeah, you use off a little bit, man. Let me
Hey
bring you in
man,
full screen so they can see you. You got your Kinara set up over there. You got
yeah, man.
the fire. Look, I got my I got a couple of them. I don't know if you can see them over my shoulder there. I've got the photo booth props that we have for of course the photo booth, and we've been using them here at the house. The photo booth has got a lot of action at home. Which is a new thing for us. So using the photo booth at home is definitely new. Yeah.
Hey, whatever works, my brother.
Yeah,
Whatever
man.
works.
Yeah. Yeah. The boys have been having
So
a great time.
can you hear me? Can you
Yeah, I can
pretty
hear.
good? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Can you
Look,
not hear me?
I can hear you good, brother. And you know what else? You looking just like you looking, boy.
Look, I try to do that every day. And some
Every day.
days I succeed.
Some days you succeed. But hey, man, welcome everybody. This is Nightcap Knowledge. Real talk, real issues, real solution. This show is rated black and uncensored. We have made it to the last Tuesday of another year.
The last Tuesday of another year, and the last Tuesday, the last nightcap for 2023.
Yep. The last nightcap for 2023. We've been holding this thing down for quite a while, bro. And what? Never mind. You sound like you.
Nah, I don't know.
Get your cup of water.
I do have a cup of water. I also have I have a loaded coffee over here too.
Oh,
I felt like it was appropriate.
yes, sir.
You know. But I'm gonna tell you what just came to mind. And I know we need to get your mental health minute in, and it may be on point. But have you paid attention to Shannon Sharp's new show's name?
So I was talking to Mailman about
Okay.
that. I said, Mailman, I said, do you know who? He said, what? I said, yeah. I said, can you believe it? I said, but and they doing the same exact thing. What we doing? You got your halftime. Look like what's the name is coming, and I'm not calling names on purpose, guys. Like they calling from a hotel room or wherever it may be, traveling, right? But they're
Yeah.
doing the same exact thing that we are. So yeah, I don't ever see no beverages, but I watch podcasts, watch talk show. I try to watch things that are influential to the type of stuff that we want to do. That you can learn
Yeah.
something, that you get some nuggets, that you can hear more about people and what they're doing and learn something. So I don't know, man. And we said the mental health minute. The mental health minute is very simple. You know, we just came off Christmas. Now we're dealing with Kwanzaa, and it's going to be the importance of celebration and highlighting the importance of human relationships, friendships, those things, and celebrating, just celebrating fellowship, being together, no matter what occasion it may be. Long, even sometimes those who transition to be with their ancestors bring us back together.
Yeah.
Reconnect with our friends and family that we have not seen for years. So with this show, and so many other folks we know, the condolences goes to the Loveless family in Peoria, Illinois. My wife lost her paternal grandmother. We call her Nana Loveless, and she's in Illinois, reconnecting with family and sisters and things of that nature. And it just did her maternal grandmother so much joy to see her because she hadn't seen her in almost 5 years.
Yeah.
So some of those things are connecting the importance of celebration. So we just got to make sure that we highlight those things, and no matter what the occasion, take advantage of it and continue. Hey, we forget about what happened last year, last 5-10 years. Let's start new, right? Let's start a new tradition, a new something that helps us stay connected and stay grounded and stay unified. So that's a good way to kick off the show and find out what the groove is, Chuck. I know you don't have a groove yet. I know one is probably coming for New Year's Eve or somewhere in there.
Well, I would say this. We definitely took it upon ourselves to celebrate, and we did so in great fashion on yesterday. Uh, as a family, I would say we did it well as a family. Now, one of the grooves that I was fortunate to DJ on the 23rd, which was Saturday. There's a young lady turning 87 years young. Um, also celebrating her 65th wedding anniversary with her husband. This was in Biloxi, Mississippi, and really cool cool couple. I'm trying to remember how I was referred to them, but end up getting a message on one of the sites where people are looking for DJs and things like that. And they said, I'm looking for a DJ. Hopefully, you're available. If so, give me a call. Right. So get a lady a call, and in true elder fashion, she said, I'm gonna need to come by. I need you to come by and meet with me. I said, okay, all right, I can see uh how a person with 87 years under their belt definitely wants to meet with people that they're gonna be doing business with. But we did that, and everything was going smoothly, and I was really excited about being able to come home and tell my wife that I was a part of a celebration where these two folks have been together for 65 years, and they're still hosting family gatherings, and friends and family coming over to their home for a wedding anniversary, birthday celebration, and a Christmas party. Um, but in the midst of all of that, just as we were about to get ready to cut the cake and do a champagne toast, my client, my DJ client, her name is Caroline. She took a tumble, so the party ended rather abruptly. But in the midst of witnessing all of that, I saw two people that were definitely able to find their groove, no matter what was going on, no matter where they moved to all over the country. um they were always able to find their groove. And one of the most important things for us as we approach, um as we're in the Kwanzaa season, right, and as we approach 2024, we as people, and I'm saying individual people, like, everybody has their own thing that they're passionate about. You got to find your groove. Sometimes we end up getting pulled in a lot of different directions that might not necessarily put us in the right uh rhythm. It might not allow us to function in symphony with things that complement our life. But the thing that I want to encourage myself and others to do is to always find your groove. And then if you feel a little bit out of sync, sometimes you got to do something to where you can get back on beat. So my encouragement, for me, because I tell myself this, man, look, I always find you. I've been saying that this past year. Like, we've had the What's the Groove segment, and we do it when we want to. Uh but one of the things that, and I've got these stickers that are reminders now, like every morning when I get up, when I'm brushing my teeth and preparing, there's a little sticker there that says always find your groove. So I'm encouraging folks out there, man, like, look, if you feel a little bit out of beat, nah, man, you got to get back on it. You got to get back on the beat, find your groove, make sure that everything that you got going on in your life is complementary to what God is supposed to be doing in your life, and what you're supposed to be doing on this side of quote unquote glory. So that's my What's the Groove. And man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in, tapping in with us. For everybody that's tuning in for the first time via Instagram, man, we really appreciate y'all for doing so. Um, and we're testing it out. We don't know how it's going to look, but we're gonna go back and look at it to make sure that it is what it's supposed to be. And if you're out there, leave us a comment. And if not, if you don't feel like leaving a comment, shoot us a DM and let us know what you thought of Nightcap Knowledge this week as we are celebrating Kwanzaa 2023. And today, as we would say in good Kwanzaa fashion, Habar Ghani. And Umoja is our principal today. And we've got some special guests that will be joining us. Mac, tell us who we got coming on the show tonight for Nightcap as we celebrate.
So this brother, and he probably laughing in the background because he's so energetic, right? He goes from all the way down on the corner in any hood, all the way to the depths of the African history and culture, all the way to any type of language and knowledge that you would hear come out of an attorney mouth. This brother has been traveled across the world. He's always moving around. He's always working to help folks. He spent a lot of time here in the Jackson area. He's very dedicated to his people. He's like that guy when the special forces is needed, when you need to call him in, he show up, and he said, "I'm here for one purpose." And so we got another brother here. We got, of course, everybody know one of the greatest organizers, social workers out here, and that's Coach Campbell. So also known as better as Coach Abasi. But the brother that's gonna bring the heat. It's like when back in the day, Chuck, when you used to have them guest ministers come on, and your dad get up and introduce him, and they said, he gonna come bring the fire, he gonna come bring the heat, and you already anticipating that this brother gonna come in with that thing. With this brother, I got to introduce him the way he introduced himself when he speaks, when he was on the radio show, and his name is Mr. D. Measy, David Mosley. Where you at, brother?
All right.
Where's David?
We got some technical difficulties getting David D. Measy in, but
oh man,
hold on. I see him there. There we go.
I'm sneaking in now.
You sneaking in now.
Man, right. You missed that great introduction, man.
No, I did not miss the great introduction, brother. You introduced me just like I was supposed to be introduced. You did not miss nothing. Only thing we missed was the technical stuff, but everything else was right. It was right, brother. Hey, I don't hate you for loving me, okay? I promise I don't hate you for loving me.
Well, we ain't
I promise not to be afraid of you helping me help myself. I promise not to be afraid of you helping me help myself. So thank you for letting me be myself. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So Chuck, we skip a second. What you drinking, Chuck?
I am having something that they pour over beans, and then on the other side of it, they come out, they call it coffee.
What's in that coffee?
This one has a little bit of a sugar-free caramel coffee syrup.
Oh, so
that sounds sweet.
So I guess with that being said, I was caught between drinking scotch and wine. So since you drinking coffee, I think I drink wine.
Hey man, look, drink what you want to drink now. Ain't nobody hating on you for your beverage.
No. Look. I'm gonna say the scotch for the first show of 2024. We'll bring it.
I have to match your scotch then. I see what we can do.
Hey, so brother David, we want to take it back. I watched a podcast earlier with David Banner, and he was talking about when you speak to the people, you don't use these words. Then I thought about the transition of one of our teachers and elders, Brother Hollis, and he always say, "Make it plain, make it plain." Right? So people hear the term Kwanzaa, so that's why I kind of put out there. I said, "What is Kwanzaa?" Right, and I hadn't lit my candles yet because I want you to break it down before you go in depth to break it down tonight and tell people what is Kwanzaa, and then when you tell me, when you break it down, let me know which candle I'm supposed to light. And I'm doing it intentionally because some people don't know, right? You want to celebrate. So we can't hit people across the head and not show them, hey, I really want to know more. Teach me without making me feel like I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Well,
the Migos have a few songs. The Migos are very copied. As last 5 years, the Migos have been very copied by a lot of other groups. who try to steal their style and not always give them credit, you know. And the Migos tell you that they got their style from Bone Thugs and Harmony, and Twista and a few others, but primarily Bone Thugs and Harmony. So the Migos are not lying about where they got their stuff from. They're connected to their hip hop ancestral legacy, but many of us are disconnected from our own ancestral legacy, and oftentimes it is by way of religion. You have allowed the people who have co-opted and corrupted everything that we gave them and showed them to define the boxes by which we operate our spirituality within. And those boxes are known as religion. And until we use what we have to overcome the slave diet, slave religion, and slave mentality, we will remain on the bottom in every measured capacity. So you say, well, what that got to do with Kwanzaa? Kwanzaa is about celebrating our divine black selves. I repeat, Kwanzaa is about celebrating our divine black selves. Now, you don't have to have Kwanzaa to celebrate your divine black self. But oftentimes, what we're using to celebrate our divine black selves have oftentimes been so thoroughly defined by other people that we accept their definitions as our own reality, which Wade Nobles calls power. And so until we address the power relationship that exists between us and the system that we operate in, we're not going to get our equitable or fair share of divine black self-love. We have to purposely set up situations, institutions, holidays, and celebrations that are specifically designed for the celebration of our divine black selves. And when we do that, we become a more mature people. And that's what was learned on the heels of the civil rights movement and at the early component of what we call the Black Power movement, which gave us the Black Studies, which gave us the Black Arts movement, which gave us the I'm Black and I'm Proud component, which gave us the 10-point plan of the Black Panther Party, which gave us a revival and a renaissance of a reconnection to our ancestral legacy with Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and before him, Henry Highland Garnett, and before him, Bishop Henry McNeil Turner, who are already promoting these Black Power ideologies in institution building way before the people who came after them, like W.B. Du Bois and what's his name, Carter G. Woodson. So I'm just touching on some things so that we can get a piece of where we came from to get to where we're supposed to be. Once again, what is Kwanzaa? Kwanzaa is a celebration that allows us to celebrate our divine black selves.
There you go. There you go, man. So look at it from this standpoint for me, D-Meezy. You talked about the institutions, and some of the institutions are containers that we find ourselves subscribed to.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those being constructed by others, and them having power over us.
Right, because we didn't change it. Once we got it, we didn't change it to make it suit us. We kept it the same as it was, which was designed to suit them.
Right, and how do we find ourselves in 2023 having these conversations about now still creating our own institutions? Do we have any of those institutions that we've been able to sustain or create outside of that dynamic?
Well, the answer, of course, is mixed, but the truth of the matter is it's difficult to properly love oneself without the holistically accurate knowledge of self. You also have to be willing to conquer your fear of freedom, because knowledge of self is the key to salvation. And so we perish for a lack of knowledge, not for a lack of praise. We perish for a lack of knowledge, not for a lack of worship. We perish for a lack of knowledge, not for a lack of talent. We perish for a lack of knowledge. And where there is no vision, the people perish. So vision and knowledge are synonymous relative to those proverbs within the biblical text. And so we have to recognize that when your knowledge that you have is coming from a container that has been defined by other people whose main duty is to keep you oppressed, then of course what you come out with is going to be something that works against your own best interest. So therefore, even though we have churches and we have lodges, oftentimes the churches and the lodges, which were the first primary institutions that we had outside of family, and our family situation was disrupted, the church and the lodge was the only two spaces that we had and still have that we own, operate, manage, and control. But until and unless we change the ideological foundational framework then we're still going to be marching to the beat of someone else's drum. And so that just is what it is. Now, don't take my word for it. I don't have no new ideas, okay? W.B. Du Bois, Black Reconstruction, they got this in there. The Mohawk plan, they got this in there in the Mohawk plan, okay? When I'm talking about education of the Negro, miseducation of the Negro, that's in there already, okay? So I'm not coming up with no new stuff. Barbara Sizemore said we just can't get it right. Amos Wilson said it's the falsification of African consciousness. Okay, so I'm not coming up with this stuff. All right, this is old stuff. I'm just reminding us. I'm doing a Sankofa right now, and I appreciate the platform. But I'm just doing a Sankofa to remind us of who we are, where we come from.
Yeah.
While I'm sitting here in front of somebody who's watching you that hates the fact that I say something about my ancestral legacy, or is concerned that I mention my ancestral legacy, when on their very face, their great-grandmother is expressing to herself through their nose. And great-great-great-grandpa is expressing himself through their lips. And great-great-great-great-great-grandma and grandpa is expressing themselves through their hair and their eyelashes and their calf muscles and their ankles and their wrists. So your ancestors live through you. You are your ancestors. Your ancestors are you. You don't have to just give praise to Moses, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You can give praise to Skeeter and Auntie Hot Chili Sauce and all the other relatives that's in your ancestral line too, because they sure enough is expressing themselves through you, me, and our cousins too.
You, your mama, and your cousin too. So
that's right. That's right. Help me, Chuck. Help me, Chuck.
He means I got a question, man. Do you think it makes certain members of our community, like folk that are like uber Christian, do you think like the conversations that like, for instance, like, you know, when I say when people ask me who I am, I say I walk into the room and I bring everybody. Like there are George Pattersons before me.
That's right. That's right.
There's one after me named George III, and then there's another named Jackson. I am here representing all of them and everybody that helped to create us. I've started to talk like that, and I've seen people do their little head to the side type of shit. I'm still talking like. Do you think it makes people feel uncomfortable when we start talking about our ancestors?
Man, hell yeah, man. Come on, man. You know, you got a people that been brainwashed through religion, man. Islam is even worse than Christianity. Islam is even worse than Christianity. Okay?
Why you say that?
Yeah, Islam had you waking up at a different time in the morning, doing sun yoga, and not even knowing you doing sun yoga. All right, 5 times a day. Have you praying in a language you don't even understand? You don't even know when you get the words wrong. It'll have you wearing a long robe all the way down to your ankles, and it's 20 degrees outside. All right? Islam will have you flip-flop, man. Trying to bring a prayer rug to your job. Knowing your job can't stand none of that stuff. You can hear me? Islam will have you all the way gone, man. It'll disconnect you from your family. I'm saying that's how wrapped up some of us get into religion. And you know, I'm not knocking Islam. Yeah. I'm just highlighting that some of us go to these great extremes trying to run from something, but you can't run from yourself because everywhere you go, there you are. And if you return to the source, you're going to find out that you the creator, your ancestors are the creators of all those things any damn way.
Right.
I gave you the rudimentary origins of whatever religious perspective you have through my ancestral legacy. And my ancestral legacy is your ancestral legacy. If you go back to the Nile Valley High Culture and Civilization, you're going to see the origins of Buddhism. You're going to see the origin of what we today call Christianity. You know, the concept of Christ precedes Christianity. All right. You're going to see the origins of what we today deal with Islam in terms of the principles and practices. That's prior to the co-option and corruption. That's why you need a Kwanzaa. That's why you needed a Black arts movement. That's why you need a Black studies department. Otherwise, you don't have an opportunity to properly know thyself, to love thyself, to save ourselves. That's why we even got a Kwanzaa Leadership Academy going on, all right? For the babies to de-spookify Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
I mean, you see what I'm saying? It's just some of these stuff so basic. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We just need to pick up the baton that some of our ancestors either dropped or got knocked on the head and it got knocked out their hands, or some of them hid it, hoping that somebody else didn't steal it. right? So we got to go back and fetch it and then bring it forward into a new reality. We got to update and upgrade it, man. We got to do what Roy Jones Jr. did for Sugar Ray Leonard after Sugar Ray Leonard borrowed it from Muhammad Ali, after Muhammad Ali borrowed it from Sugar Ray Robinson. Okay? That's what we got to do.
I saw all the connections you made there.
Come on, you saw that, man? You saw that? You saw that?
I understand.
And all of them fighting off that same prototype of Sugar Ray Robinson.
Yeah.
Okay? And Larry Holmes took the prototype and he owned a whole city block just like Sugar Ray Robinson did. Okay? All right? But Larry Holmes is trying to own half of a town. LeBron James is picking up that mantle now. All right? Some of people are getting the need for black economic community control models. That's part of Kwanzaa too, by the way. Collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, and familyhood. That's real, baby. We got to live this thing. And until and unless we learn how to use the institution that we already have, that we own, operate, manage, and control, we don't need to go keep creating new ones. We need to learn how to master the ones we already have. Hell, some of those buildings already got the mortgage paid, man. They got enough land where we could grow our own food, brother, and feed half the community right there on church grounds. We don't need to go and do something new. I don't care if you believe in Jesus like I do. I don't care if you believe in Muhammad like I do. I don't care if you done studied and read Miseducation of the Negro. Actually, I do care if you read that, if you lead me. But if you read Message to the Black Man 7 times like I have. I don't care if you studied Buddhism, the Buddhism of the East and the Buddhism of the Nile Valley High Culture and Civilization. I'm not concerned if you have all that knowledge. That's really not necessary for everybody to have that. You do need to read Miseducation of the Negro, though, if you're going to lead me. But I'm just highlighting that it's not necessary that everybody have all the knowledge. It is necessary that we be willing to agree on a set of principles that we can all coalesce around, like these principles of Kwanzaa, these principles and practices that help us create a whole new world as a floor. All of us should have the same floor, the same solid foundation, and then we can launch into a whole new stratosphere that's not defined by the ceiling that has been given to us.
Now,
come on, man.
Dave, before you dive too far off in that bag, bring you back to give
you know I'm about to go to the pulsars and quasars right now.
Right? We need to do a basic introduction of Kwanzaa and then tell me what tonight is and what I need to do next.
Okay, well tonight is a night that's the first night of Kwanzaa. Every year on the 26th through January the 1st, there are 7 nights of Kwanzaa. Okay, Kwanzaa is a version of a word that deals with something called first fruits. First fruits is dealing with harvest celebrations. So if you just don't get all caught up in the weeds of it, just get caught up in the general understanding. Kwanzaa is a celebration of first fruits. It's a version of a harvest celebration. Now, properly understood, when we do Easter, when we do Halloween, and when we do Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, all of these are different versions of harvest celebrations. Okay, if you understand what I'm saying properly, they deal with the solar and the winter equinoxes, the fall equinox, and so right around those times you have these different harvests where you come around and you bring the whole community around and you celebrate what you have, and then you remind yourself of what you need to do so that you can have a more bountiful harvest moving forward. You find out who is hurting, who's messed up, who's orphaned, all of those things, and you come together as a community and you solve your own problems, right? You don't just pray about it. Prayer is one part of it, but if you got a leak in your roof, you don't have a prayer meeting for the leak in the roof without also asking who in here know how to fix roofs, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's what this thing is supposed to be about.
Okay. All right. So which candle do I light first?
Tonight, you're supposed to light the black candle. The black candle.
All right. Right in the center.
Right. Correct. Directly in the center. And that's
going to candle represents
unity. The first night of Kwanzaa of unity. All right. And then you go black, red, green, black, red, green, black, red, green. Okay. So black is number 1, then red on the end, then green on the other end, then red on the inside, then green on the inside, then red on the inside, then green on the inside. All right, and that'll give you the 7 days.
Okay.
Right. Bam, 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 bam. Right.
And tonight, what's the term for tonight?
It's called Umoja.
What I want you to explain it. Like where does this language come from? You know, and
okay. So one of the understandings was from Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Now, mind you, Marcus Mosiah Garvey didn't make this up; he borrowed this.
Right.
Okay. That's why I mentioned Henry Highland Garnett. I mentioned Henry McNeil Turner. I should have mentioned Muhammad Duse Ali as well. So Marcus Garvey didn't invent this stuff; he borrowed it. But one of the things he was making reference to is that as Black people in America, we should commit ourselves to learning the languages of our neighbors. Just like if we was on the African continent, or if we was in Latin America or Korea or anywhere else, you would learn the language of the people who lived around you. That's why most of the people from other countries are multi-fluent. You know, they can speak 4 to 5 different languages. So the languages that are around us are Spanish and French. Don't get so caught up in that these are our colonizers. Understand that these are the languages of the people who live around you, Spanish and French. If you want to connect to the African continent, the language of trade and commerce is a language that is related to Swahili. So therefore, by learning Swahili, you connect yourself to 2/5 of the African continent. 2/5 of the African continent. Don't forget, the African continent can fit 3 of the United States, and relative to landmass, the African continent can fit 3 United States inside of its landmass. The African continent can swallow South America and the upper middle of North America all in one. So you can fit South America and the United States inside of Africa and still have more room left relative to landmass. Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you could connect yourself to 2/5 of the African continent, that means that you connected yourself to more people than China. Okay. So you got to be able to think. You see, I know I'm trying to hit you with something. If you had a map, you would understand that Europe is not actually a country, because in order to be a continent, because in order to be a continent, you have to have 3 bodies of water surrounding you. Okay, so we have a gross miseducation, and as a result of that, you need a Kwanzaa to help you love your divine Black self, but you can't properly love a self that you do not know. And you can't save ourselves if you don't know who our is.
So what does today symbolize? What's the word?
Today is Umoja, which is unity.
Which is unity. The most important thing that you highlight is we all have different talents, skills, and blessings and gifts. And that's why we have to unite to work together so that we can collectively use these gifts to help take care of ourselves and to make us be the best version of ourselves. And
see, I got to know my role in my lane. Yeah. See, I'm over here looking at what God put in Chuck's basket. And see, both of us preachers' kids. I'm looking at what God put in Chuck's basket. So he can DJ, he could dance on one of his feet, right? He got his family thing and his business thing. And I'm so busy looking at what Chuck got in his bag, I can't get full appreciation of what's going on in my bag.
You don't even
and because I'm so busy staring at Chuck's bag, now I done went from the childhood innocence of jealousy. You know, you have minor league jealousy, little baby elementary jealousy. Now I done grew up into envy. So yeah, right. See, I started off wishing that I had what he had. You can solve jealousy by giving me what he got, and then I go and play with what he got that I didn't have. But when I get to envy, I don't want him to have it. See, when we get to envy, I'm mad at God that he got it. You see what I'm saying? I'm not satisfied if I get the same thing. I want him to not have it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So we got to grow up and stop being so hyper focused on looking at what our brother and our sister got in their bag and focus on what we got in our bag and develop that. And be grateful for what God gave us and work the hell out of it. Okay. And when we do that, we can form like Voltron. We stop trying to be the other one and we work in tandem with one another as opposed to competitors of one another. We see each other as complements of one another as opposed to, hyper competition, capitalistic competition. But all of this is a result of miseducation. We did not Willie Lynch ourselves. We were Willie Lynched. We did not do each other wrong, we have to ask the question, who in the hell put them crabs in the barrel and why? Okay. And until we ask those questions in the right order, we always going to be on somebody else's paradigm.
Yeah. I think one of the things that we don't spend enough time doing in terms, like you're breaking down and you're going back to tell more about what's in store for the future.
Correct.
And the practical application of how these things, how we operate, things that we would do, like the way that you just broke down the progression of jealousy towards envy.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't celebrate Mac, D Meezy, and Coach O being able to do the things that they do, that means that I don't even know how to celebrate myself, my small wins that I'm able to see every day. If it was having a breakthrough with my youngest son, or if it was me and my wife being able to connect on a deeper level because we've had more time to visit with each other because of the holiday season. If I'm not paying attention to those things and me seeing the wins that I got in front of me, and I'm looking at like, well, how Matt gonna do X, Y, and Z? How's that? Coach O over there doing Elemento and P. But not realizing that I got my own alphabet that I need to be working and that I've been able to learn and to put into different words and things like that. I think that's what we're not doing with Kwanzaa. And I think more of us should take the time to say, one of the things that I've done is, and Mac and I, we've been more consistent with it over the past 2 years. We're going to incorporate principles of Kwanzaa into everyday life, like in business.
That's what it was actually designed to be used for. It's supposed to be what they call a communitarian moral minimum.
Come on.
Communitarian moral minimum. It's supposed to be a floor, not the ceiling. This is supposed to be what everybody is supposed to be taught in the institutions we own, operate, manage, and control. Even if you don't use the Swahili words. Unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics and familyhood, purpose, creativity, faith. Okay. Now, mind you, Sile McGinnis, one of our griots, our storytellers, our jeles, right? He reminds us that creativity without purpose inevitably renders destruction. Creativity without purpose inevitably renders destruction. That what the old folks say, that I'm borrowing that from C.L. McGinnis now.
One more time.
Creativity devoid of purpose or without purpose inevitably leads to destruction. It inevitably produces destruction. It inevitably renders destruction. Okay? I'm sharing that with you because oftentimes we have been able to express our creative gifts and get paid for them, but the people paying us had a whole nother agenda than what God gave us the gift for. And rather than tap into our divine self and be content or satisfied with singing at church and at the little school play and at the little recital and all those things that barely pay enough money, but bring joy to the hearts and souls of the people who love you, that you love, we want to get paid. And when we want to get paid, we end up on the casting couch, males and females.
I had to give you the horn.
Hey. And next thing you know, you don't know that you on candid camera when you on the casting couch. And when you don't want to do what somebody else say you supposed to do, because you done figured out that economically we can stand together and win. And next thing you know, they want to pull your card. And now they're going to exploit you and they're going to put you out there and say, see, look at what he been doing. See, look at what he about. See, look at her past, because they had you on candid camera the whole time. Okay? And that's because you're not teaching these principles to have a solid floor, a communitarian moral minimum. I hate to tell you this, and I know it's rough, because most people can't imagine it, and they think that because I'm in a dashiki and I'm speaking Swahili every now and again, and I'm trying to eat healthy, and I'm having healthy habits, and I'm trying to go vegetarian and 3 months vegan, and I'm trying to clear up my skin and get rid of my cancer, my diabetes, and my family, and at my church, that maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But nonetheless, it seems like that if we had this communitarian moral minimum in the institution that we own, operate, manage, and control, it would be much more difficult to be comfortable selling out, because you would have way more people with a mindset towards Black power, economic community control, Black power, educational control, Black power, community health and wellness control. So even if you couldn't have hospitals, you would have clinics that you owned, operate, manage, and control. So even though you didn't have the big time colleges, you could have elementary and daycare and junior high. Even if you couldn't go no further past that, almost all of your children will be going to those Adiambo type of schools.
Right.
And you would have enough teachers to teach at those schools, and they'd be make enough of a decent salary at those schools. And you would have Saturday schools at your churches, just like the Church of Christ Holiness used to do, and the Church of God in Christ eventually learned how to do, and the AME and the AME Zion were doing. I ain't talking about nothing new. I'm talking about Sankofa returning to the source. With the institutions that we already have, own, operate, manage, and control, teaching these very basic principles that Maulana Karenga did not make up. He just dug up and he reformed them together. We don't need nothing new. We already got everything we need. We just need a new mind. And celebrating Kwanzaa helps us get our minds back.
Get your mind right so we can move forward.
Come on, David, baby. And we got to keep our head up, because change is going to come. Ain't no stopping us now. We on the move, baby. We shall rise.
Come on,
your congregation's waking up, bro. You got a congregation now. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at him.
It's like Ali do a combination, you know? Oh, man. You see, I got the spirit moving tonight.
Hey, man, listen. When you said that, I think about UGK, right? The part where Smoke D was in prison. And he said, look at them. They over there looking at you when you doing good. They over there coughing and choking like they got a bone caught in their throat.
Yeah.
Your own hood, your own neighborhood. What Pimp C say? Pimp C said they mad when you up and smile when you down.
Yeah,
and
right.
It goes back to and what is said, that language reach other folks that might not hear what we're saying, but it's the same message. It's like when we are not doing well, other folk has that level of envy and still saying like, man, what would we have if we collectively work together and we demanded more? And you say, well, you're gonna get all or nothing. You know, you're gonna get all or nothing.
I want you to imagine something, Mac. Yeah. Chuck and you got children, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And sometimes y'all say things to y'all children, and no matter how many times you repeat it, how loud you get, how quiet you get, and which way you give it to them, they don't receive it from you. Correct. And so here I come along, I barely know them, and I say to them something similar to what you've been saying to them, right? And they get through when I'm saying it, and they actually enjoy it. And then you over there looking at me side-eyed, like, who the F this N think he is? This is in your head now, and it came out your mouth. Who the F this N think he is, right? Talking to my children like that, and he ain't even barely taking care of his own. Who he think he is talking to my wife like that, and he been divorced twice? Who he is talking to my cousin like that about drugs, and hell, he was strung out. He can't even stop drinking. And see, when the hate that's in you grow from immature jealousy, elementary jealousy, to that grown-up envy, you can't appreciate your family member who's just as imperfect as you, that can bring a light that's blocked by you, but bring a light to your family member, bring life to your family member, bring health and healing to your family member, because they're bringing your message in a different kind of way, with a different kind of energy, but now it's getting through.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Kwanzaa is important because Kwanzaa is not a religious holiday. So that same type of energy that prevents me from being happy when it comes from AME or CME or Kojic or Church of Christ or Nation of Islam or anybody for that matter, right?
Right.
When it comes from somebody else and they can get it, I don't have to hate on them because I see them as a reflection of me because it's not a religious holiday. It's based on principles. You see, I went back to church and I'm teaching them yoga at church, okay? I'm teaching them yoga at church. I'm teaching them about deep breathing and meditation. Of course, I'm doing it by spoonful, right? Now, some of our people thought that yoga was demonic because yoga was Buddhist. And Buddhists don't celebrate Jesus. And so therefore, we can't be practicing yoga because it's Buddhist. And I had to come back and remind our family at church that yoga is not Buddhist. Buddhists do yoga because it works. Okay? Yoga is not Buddhist. Buddhists use yoga because it works. And then I had to show that the yoga go all the way back to the walls in Kemet. Then I had to show that the sun yoga practices that you see in Islam, when they bow down, had its origins in the Nile Valley high culture civilization. Okay? In other words, this ain't nothing new. Our ancestors was already doing this, man. They ain't doing it because it's religion. The religion's adopted it because it works.
Because it works.
So we got to go back to what works that come from our people instead of continuously following after our oppressor. That's why Kwanzaa is important.
The bastardized version. We got to stop following the bastardized versions that have been poured into Kool-Aid and we drink.
You see, Chuck? Now, imagine if I hated on you because you figured out a slicker way to say it than me. You see what I'm saying? That's a foolishness.
That's foolishness, but that goes back to you saying we got to learn the language.
Yeah, correct.
Of our neighbors. So
correct.
It's a macro level and it's a micro level.
That's
so
right.
If D Meezy can go over on the south side and speak the language, then well, I don't really know them dudes like that down there on the south side. So I might need to go to the north and talk like the brothers in, we got to be able to speak the language.
Look, I know we winding down, but let me touch on this, okay? In Los Angeles, the Koreans meet every third Tuesday of the month. The Korean business owners meet every third Tuesday. They shut their businesses down.
Every third Tuesday.
Every third Tuesday of the month. This is in Los Angeles, they shut their businesses down. And they go to a space that they own and they have a meeting. This is the Korean business owners. The Korean business owners have a meeting to discuss how they're better going to divide the pie and get more pie factories so that they can manipulate our business. This is black people business because the Korean businesses are set up in primarily black neighborhoods.
Okay.
Now, I hope you don't think I'm hating on people who have immigrated to this country that's willing to put in 14 and 16 and 18 hours of work per day in order to feed their families. And in 2 to 3 generations, they own their own property and have the nice cars and they're able to make sure that their children become professionals like doctors and lawyers and whatnot. I hope you don't think I'm hating on people like that because that would be a form of envy. All right. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just sharing with you that the Koreans business owners have a meeting every third Tuesday of the month where they shut their business down. The Koreans have wholesale retail distribution because they have warehouses in different parts of the city. And in those warehouses, if you put in $100 and I put in $500, even though we're not going to get the same amount when we pool our money like that, guess what? I'm going to get more for my 100 than I would have if I had to put it in by myself.
Yeah.
But all the business owners are putting in to make sure that they can get more bang for their buck because they have wholesale retail distribution that delivers to each retail space because they pool their money together and they was able to get more with the same amount than they would by themselves. Did I mention that the Koreans have their own banks in Los Angeles? that they do business with, and they give their own insurance to one another. Did I mention that? Did I mention that there's a section of town that has the writing on the building in all Korean, and they have Korean newspapers with a Korean want ads and a Korean classified section? You don't have to speak Korean to shop there. You don't have to speak Korean to shop there, but if you do speak Korean, you could probably read what's going on a little better than if you don't. Now, somebody don't understand what I just said. They don't understand how that's connected to Kwanzaa. They don't understand how that's connected to institutions you own, operate, manage, and control. They don't understand how that's connected to speaking the language. They don't understand how that's related to the principles. They don't understand how that's related to know thyself, to love thyself, to save ourselves, or overcoming the slave diet, slave religion, and the slave mentality. They don't understand how that's connected to Amos Wilson, Blueprint for Black Power and Falsification of African Consciousness, or Barbara Sizemore saying we just can't get it right. They don't understand how that's connected to Asa Hilliard, Return to the Source. They don't understand how that's connected to Wade Noble's. If somebody gives you a definition and you operate by that definition as though it's your own, then that means that they have power over you. All right? Some people can't connect what I just said about the Koreans to all of that. Man. And that's the major problem of why we need to celebrate Kwanzaa.
That is awesome.
I'm shaking my head. I'm shaking my head for two reasons. And I'm saying, I mean, maybe we need to change the way we say this shit, right? What we saying about Kwanzaa in the Black culture power in celebration, this shit is new. It already exists. The other cultures are already doing it. We are not. He just gave you a real life example that the Koreans are already doing all of the shit that we are planning, protesting, and preaching that we need to do. The example works, is there. And what I'm shaking my head about, because I see a couple of folks that are in fraternity sororities in the chat. And I asked the question several years ago. I said, these white folks make us change our rules and regulations and policies in our fraternities and sororities because of lawsuits, because they threaten to drop you from insurance. While the white fraternities and sororities still doing all the crazy shit they've been doing since Animal House. And I'm talking about since they filmed Animal House, right? I said, right.
John Belushi.
We got, huh?
John Belushi, keep going.
Right. And I said, so why don't we pull our money together and create our insurance company and underwrite all our own policies? I said that to one of the brothers, like, yeah, man, and I'm just like, why don't we create our own insurance company?
What if I give you a better one, Mac? Are you afraid of a better one than that? Are you afraid of a better one than that?
No.
Imagine if you went to Edwards, Mississippi, or Leland, Mississippi, and bought up the whole damn town of all the land that wasn't already owned. Well, imagine if you went to Leland, Mississippi, and in every abandoned building in downtown, the Sigmas and the Zetas said, we're going to control every little podunk black town with a 60% or more population. We're going to come in groups of 15 to 25, and we're going to be in charge of everything. We're going to run a Boston in a little bitty podunk town. That would be what the foundational principles of Kwanzaa will look like after one generation.
Listen, and I'm not just saying this, but there are some plans already similar, right?
No, we've already done it. So what I'm saying, but we've already done it. There's individuals already doing it, but the problem is the collective, operational, institutional capacity is not in the individual.
In the institutional.
There you go. And you have to have a set of principles that you can all coalesce and agree upon so that people can stay in their lane and know their role. Otherwise, you're going to be bumping heads over stuff that you should be agreeing with.
Yep. That brother's in Hattiesburg right here.
This is individual.
Yeah, right. One small group.
This is individual. We're attempting to drill home is we got to get the institutions to start doing. And there are some, we're not discounting and saying that there are.
And you can count them too. And you can count them.
You can count them.
Yeah, yeah. You can count them. Yeah. You can count them. You can count them. You see, that's a problem. You see, that's a problem. That's a problem. You don't know how good you are until the Joe
really
Snow brother.
Especially when you bring it up.
Until that sister that can't sing go platinum, you don't got your unity right. You shouldn't have to be Whitney Houston to go platinum in the black community. You should be able to sing just good enough to get off the church circuit and go platinum. That's what would happen if we was doing Respect Our Black Dollar and recycling black dollars properly and Jackson Black pages properly in every city. That's what it would look like. Even the sister that can barely sing better than the church folks would go platinum because we would already be supporting her before she even put the album out.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Can I touch you? Can I hit you with something else? Can I hit you with it?
Go on, hit it. And I'm gonna get the button. I'm gonna get the button.
Okay. Now see, we talking about Kwanzaa, right?
Come on,
we talking about principles that will set a floor, so that we can have as a solid foundation, and then we can launch ourselves into a stratosphere beyond any ceiling that other people have set for us. That's what we're talking about. Hear what I'm saying. Amos Wilson in the late 1990s came out with a book called Blueprint for Black Power.
Right.
He did not finish that book. He died while he was making it. And then others took the information and put it in the book so that it came out in 2000. The research he did, which came before that but was in that book, showed that black people spend less than 3% of our post-bills income, our disposable income, with quality black-owned businesses. So if we went to 5%, that would double the income of quality black-owned business. In other words, if black people spend 5 cents of every dollar of disposable income, that's after you pay your bills, with quality black-owned business, it would double the income for black business, quality black-owned businesses. If we took that nickel of disposable income after you pay your bills and use 1 dime, in other words, you double the nickel, right?
Right.
If black people collectively spent 1 dime of every disposable dollar with quality black-owned businesses, that means they offer quality products with quality service at quality prices. 1 dime would create 1 million new jobs overnight.
Your 1 dime with other folks' dimes will create 1 million new jobs.
1 million new overnight. If we took that dime and turned it into a quarter. Now, mind, you're talking about 30, 60, 90 days. You're talking about a 3-year plan. You understand what I'm saying, right?
Gotcha.
If you turn that dime into a quarter, where black people are spending 1/4 of every disposable dollar after you pay your bills with quality black-owned businesses, quality products, quality service, and quality prices. If we spend 1/4 of every disposable dollar with quality black-owned businesses, we got so much revenue coming in, we have to go hire Mexicans. We got to go hire Guatemalans. We got to go hire them Ukrainians that they bringing into the country and making us pay for it. We got to go hire all the other people that come from other communities to work for us. That's how much more disposable income we have. That's how much work we need just doing business with and within ourselves, just right here in the United States. Do you hear what I'm saying? Now, guess what? Maggie Anderson came behind him and did the same research and came to the same conclusion with the empowerment experiment in Our Black Year. And Maggie Anderson ain't no red, black, and green flag waving Marcus Garvey card holding person. Marcus, she just came up with something called the empowerment experiment with a movie called Our Black Year and a book called Our Black Year, where her family committed to spending every disposable dollar with quality black-owned businesses. And it sound like one of them stories with a tear attached to it when you actually watch it. All right? We got everything we need to solve our own problems. Only thing we missing is the right mind inside of the institutional spaces that we own, operate, manage, and control. If we had that, we would be free, literally free in 30, 60 to 90 days. Even if that 30, 60, 90 days was a 3-year to 9-year period. If you understand what I'm saying. And we can't get there without the principles that's embedded within Kwanzaa. I rest.
And brother, got nothing else to say.
No. He got to tell everybody where they can come get a little bit more of this sermon and live this life and be a part of this great thing called Kwanzaa in Jackson, Mississippi. So where can they come to and what time they need to be there?
Okay, come to the Mega Edwards Community Center, 3159 Edwards Avenue in Jackson, Mississippi. The Mega Edwards Community Center, 3159 Edwards Avenue, Jackson, Mississippi. There will be a Kwanzaa Leadership Academy at the Mega Edwards Library from 10 to 2 on the 28th and the 29th. And there will be Kwanzaa program from beginning at 6 p.m. inside the Mega Edwards Community Center from the 27th through January the 1st. And I just came from an excellent program with the Women for Progress at the Mississippi 2 Museums. So it's Kwanzaa. It ain't about no one group. It's about all of us working together. We know our role. We stay in our lanes. We're not envious of each other because we're not elementary jealous children. We're grown up now, and we're going to use what we got to get what we want. We ain't going to be fighting with each other for foolishness. We want more in 2024, and we can't get it without making change in 2023.
That's my hashtag, more in 24. That's what we put out there. More in 24. And I was saying, what do we want? We want more resources. We want more relationships. We want more knowledge. We want more everything that's positive for our people and ourselves. We want more in 24.
I want more of my great mind. I want more of loving our divine black selves. I want more black women to wake up and look in the mirror and say, I am enough. Give themselves a hug, pull off their wig and they weave, rock their naturals, and save a whole bunch of money in 2024.
Come on with it.
Unless they own the store, of course. If they own the store, they can wear all that stuff.
I like how you clean that up. I like it.
Hey. It's real, baby. It's always exception to the rule when you own your stuff.
When you own, what'd you say? When you own, operate, manage, and control?
That's right. It's always exception to the rule when you own your stuff now. Yeah. Okay? Starting with your mind. Your right mind.
There you go. Well, look, I have nothing further. I think that with the celebration of Kwanzaa and the incorporation of the principles into our everyday activity, incorporating those principles into our business plans, the symbolic, things that we incorporate into our logos, the things that we have around our homes, what we wear on our t-shirts and things like that. The more we do those things, the more opportunity and access we have to being reminded of what these principles truly stand for, the more we can actually put it into practice. So I think by doing so, we can get to where the money resides.
Come on now. Matter of fact, we'll get to the point where we'll be actually creating the money. We the best hoes America got. And when you start waking up as a former hoe, you can transform the former hoe reality into an entrepreneur reality, where you're not just bringing it back to somebody else that hates your guts. You actually turn it around and you end up raising a family and building up buildings and churches and daycare centers and whatnot. You started as a hoe, but that don't mean you got to stay a hoe. Because when you get your right mind back, you know that ain't no need to just be stuck being a hoe. Right?
and if you don't know where you're going, any road to take you there.
Any road to take you there. Especially if you're a Democrat and Republican. Especially if you're a Democrat and Republican waiting on voting season. And you ain't even voted for yourself yet.
Boy.
I know it hurt. Baby.
Hold up.
Yeah. Only thing worse than a white Jesus, a white Buddha, a white Santa, a white Superman, a white Wonder Woman, and a white Thor is a blue Democrat and a red Republican wearing Negro who think that either one of them two gonna set him free. And he ain't even on the damn block that he's campaigning on for somebody else. You know, we ain't in our right minds. That's why you need sponsor, baby. I know it hurt. I can't help but laugh in your face.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, We got a topic for the next show. We got a topic for the next show. Red or blue, who are you and who you ain't? Well, look, we gonna get on out of here. We appreciate y'all for tuning in, tapping in. All of our folks that were rolling with us over on Instagram. Thank y'all for being here. It is your first time tuning in. Make sure you go like, subscribe to Nightcap Knowledge and Black with No Chaser all over every social media platform. Look out for the big announcements and tune in every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. for Nightcap Knowledge. We'll see y'all next week.
Much love, much love.
Much love, brother. Much love.
Wait.
Make sure y'all head on over to all of the Kwanzaa activities. If you need more information about what they got going on, you can look them up on Facebook. Jackson Kwanzaa celebration. Very easy to find. Mac and I will see you next week. Nightcap Knowledge every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Make sure y'all light your candles. Put something on it. We'll see y'all. Peace.